Rosslyn, hello to you. Tell us, your two guests who you're with right now are actually taking part in the Director's Fortnight.
Yes, hello Amanda. I'm actually these special sections of the Director's Fortnight devoted to budding filmmakers takes place before the official opening tonight. And here with me are two young people from the Lebanon Factory, although they do both have a bit of a track record. Well, about the factory, this year it's the Lebanon Factory. Each year for 8 years, an enterprising film person called Dominique Valinsky has organised this project where 4 directors from one country work with 4 directors from 4 other countries to write and shoot 4 short films of about 15 minutes each. They have about a month to do that. Now, last year it was the South Africa Factory, before that the Taipei Factory, etc. So this year's films, made in Beirut, are White Noise by Ahmed Hossein and Lucille Hachimia from France, Hotel Al Naim by Shirin Abu Shakra and Manuel Maria Peron from Switzerland and Italy, El Gran Libano by Munia Akl and Neta Villa Lobos from Costa Rica, and Salamat from Germany, that's the title of the film, that's by Una Gunjak from Bosnia-Herzegovina, who's based in Paris now, with Rami Kodeih, who's from Lebanon and based in the States. So they are the people who are here in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
The film is about young male migrants who want to reach Germany, and some of whom, for them, Lebanon is a stopover on the itinerary. Now, Una, the main character seems a gentle chap who's dedicated to his absent grandmother, taken in by the others, like drawn into their ruse. It may seem an obvious question, but why make a film about migrants or refugees in Lebanon? Was it too obvious?
I think yes, it was the obvious, but also for me, it personally felt like a kind of irresponsible to come to Lebanon and not to reflect on the present situation. The refugee crisis is huge all over the place, and we've heard about it in several ways and in several shades and in several forms. But for a country that is as small as Lebanon is, where 1/5 of the population now consists of refugees, is something that affects not just the big questions of politics, of society, of kind of a huge movements, but first of all, very small personal stories, and also Lebanon itself is a country that suffers from a lot of its own problems, which posed a question very quickly on in our collaboration. It's like, why do people want to stay, and why do people want to leave Lebanon? Lebanese young people, and it's something that I could also read very clearly into my own homeland, because it's something that has been present since the end of the war in the 90s.
Rami, for you, was it as obvious? Now you're living in the States.
Yeah, I recently moved to the States, so I was living in Lebanon and I was actually experiencing the metamorphosis that was happening to the place. Having the Syrian conflict be really imposing and really becoming so real and inevitable. So as Una was saying, yes, the population right now is becoming like 1/3 of the country is just Syrian refugees, not to mention all the refugees from every debris of every war that's happening in the Middle East.
Now,
so
you actually weren't there for the shoot because you got caught up in the new migration and immigration and border controls in the US after
Sure.
the new US president was inaugurated, Donald Trump, earlier this year. So you weren't actually there for the shoot, even though you took part in the writing with Una. So how did you manage it? Did you feel a bit you'd lost 1/2 of your team?
I must say that at the very beginning, before I left, because we were supposed to come more or less at the same time into Lebanon, I decided I will come earlier than the program began, because I want to get acquainted with the country. So the first morning, I was like, oh my God, how the hell am I going to do this? And but actually, as soon as I landed, as soon as I kind of met the production company, and as soon as I actually just exchanged a very simple, basic daily conversation with people, I felt much more at ease. There is a lots of similarities about the social structure and culture between Lebanon and Bosnia. So the complexities of the society, both on political and cultural level, are very similar. We have lots of confessions, lots of disparity between rich and poor, lots of similar problems that I could very easily relate to, and this made the job easier for me.
And I'm sure that Rami set up everything so that you had the right people to work with on the ground, because you shoot actually in very tight spaces, in a very small area, inside an apartment and in the street.
On the streets, yeah. Well, we kind of the prep began when I came there, and the production company had already read the script and they knew what kind of locations we were going for. So there was about 4 weeks of prep, of location scouting and casting, prepping everything and getting everything ready. And it's actually the shoot that was a bit more generous in terms of time. It's the post-production that was very kind of a compact and had to follow a certain schedule because everything else would have just decayed. So yeah.
You have previously made feature films.
No,
short films.
Short film. Yeah.
Would you like to take this film and the storyline in this film and make it into a longer film, into a feature film? At the moment it's around 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
Rami?
the subject of it definitely can open a lot of potentials for feature films in general. Like it's a very kind of a zeitgeisty kind of a subject. So you can definitely go with a lot of directions. To me, it's not planned to talk about this right now as in feature films, like because I'm busy on some other things. I don't think it's your plan either, but I think it's always this subject is always nurturing for any other subject that you want to talk about in cinema.
And it's a film. Your film is very strong on the emotional side as well, which is obviously true for any film, a decent film.
We certainly hope so. Personally, I think. Like I have a problem with kind of not problem, but it's something that I feel kind of very closely is the kind of a legitimacy of what you can really talk about. This was an occasion of me as a Bosnian filmmaker going to Lebanon and collaborating with Rami and reacting to the country, reacting to the situation. So it felt like the adequate subjects to touch upon. But I don't think I will. I think I've also kind of given my background and my previous film. I think I've kind of touched a lot of geopolitical subjects at this point. So I think I might leave it to somebody else to tell.
Well, thank you very much. We wish you all the very best, both here at Cannes and for your future projects. And thank you very much for coming to the studio here. Now, the director's Fortnight, as we said earlier, the features and the other short film lineup begins tonight with an opening film called Un beau soleil intérieur by French director Claire Denis and starring Juliette Binoche. Amanda, this evening's gala film will be Wonderstruck, the main competition film with director Todd Haynes and stars Julianne Moore and Michelle Williams treading the red carpet.